Okay, so we have our warp threads on our loom. And so remember on the back you taped it and then started wrapping around to make your warp threads and then tape the other side. So now these should be nice and tight, not like as tight as you can possibly pull it, but they should be nice and taut, I guess it's another good word for it. So when you start weaving, it's not all loosey-goosey. So what I'll do is start with one color. And when you did the warp thread, I told you not to cut it off of the ball of yarn, but this time I do want you to. It just because you'll find out, it'll be a pain in the neck if you're trying to pull it and it's still connected to this. So go ahead and cut maybe an arm's length, like a wingspan, if you're to hold both your arms out. You don't want it too long because then it gets tangled. So go ahead and just do your wingspan and then we'll keep adding string. So you're all gonna get a needle like this. It's a plastic needle with a nice big eye in it. That's called the eye of the needle, the hole. And you're gonna try and put your yarn through it. And so this can be kind of tricky sometimes. Sometimes if you get a little bit of the fray in there, you can kind of tug on it and pull it through. Another way is if you kind of get the end in between your fingers and you twist it back and forth. Then sometimes it'll make it a little skinnier on the end of that and you can slide it through. Takes some practice, but you'll be able to do it. And then you have your yarn on your needle. You've threaded your needle. You don't really need to tie this part off. If it keeps coming off and it's bugging you, you could, but then it's just annoying afterwards. You have to keep cutting it off. So I usually just leave mine with a little tail on it like that. Few inches of a tail. And now we're going to start weaving. So you start on one side and it doesn't matter if you go over or under first. You just go ahead and start, but you always want to do opposite. It's like a pattern. So if I start going under, the next one I want to go over, and then I go under, and then I go over, and then I go under. I'm going to go ahead and pull it through a little bit. This is where I said if your tail is too long, like you cut off a ton of string, sometimes you can get tangles. So if you're getting tangles a lot, then maybe just cut your string a little bit shorter. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of move my string off to the side so I can see what I'm doing. The last one, the pink went under the white. So now I'm gonna go over the white and then under and then over. So if I look at my first row, after I pull this tail through, I should be able to see that it goes under the white, over the white, 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 okay? So now when I go back, this is very, very important. I want to follow that pattern. So if the yarn just went over the warp, now I'm going to go under the warp. So I'm going to go back the other direction. And if you ever get confused, like let's say I get halfway through here and I pull my yarn through and I'm like, oh shoot, now what do I do? I forgot. All you have to do is look at, let me see if I can turn this so you guys can see. All I do is look at what I did before. So right here, I'm going over this warp thread right now. I can see that last time the pink went under it. So this time it's gonna go over and then under and then over. So you can always look at what the row was that you did last time to guide you to know exactly what you should be doing. There we go. So now I have I've got 2 rows to my weaving. If you want your weaving to be really strong, what you'll do is you'll start to press down, use your fingers to press down these weft threads so that they're nice and tight together. If they're too loose, when you go to take this off, it's going to be a lot more difficult to stay together, I guess. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'll try and speed this up, but I'm following that same pattern of right here, the string just went over, so this time I'm going to go under. I want to show you something I just did. I pulled really tight, and you see how it's pulling this warp thread in? We don't want to do that too much because then it gets to be really tricky when you start to, it gets too tight, it's hard to get over and under each one. So if you accidentally pull it too tight, just kind of loosen it up a little bit. You want it to be snug but not super tight. So I'm going to loosen these up a little bit and then push them down, and I'll keep going. Okay, I'm starting to get to a point where I want to switch colors because I'm running out of my pink. And I want you guys, when you go to switch colors, make sure you have a nice long tail, okay? About this long. Because what I'm going to have you do is tie a new string to this. So if you only have this much left as a tail, it's going to be hard to tie it. So make sure you have plenty of space on your yarn to tie. So here, I'll switch to blue. And got to find the end to my yarn. There we go. And again, I'm going to cut off maybe a wingspan. I hold both my arms out. And then here I'm going to take my 2 pieces of yarn and I'm going to hold them together like this. And I'm going to wrap them around my fingers, 2 of my fingers like this. So it's like that. And then I'm just going to tie it like that. So I'm just tying a really normal knot, most basic knot, but with both of them together. So now, when I keep weaving, it's going to turn from pink into blue. So that's how we can switch colors and have it be all connected at the same time. All right, let's say that at this time that I said, give me 3 and it's time to clean up. So I'm not done with my weaving, but what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my needle, and I still have my thread on it. And if you have a lot of thread on it, just kind of wrap it around your weaving as best as you can. And then you can take your needle and you can just go like this and go under, over, and just kind of tuck it in your string like that. And then we'll put it away. And next time when you grab your weaving, you'll have your needle already threaded with your thread on it, ready to go. Okay, you'll just pull it right out and then you can get started again. So that way we don't have to lose our needles. We'll keep track of them on our weavings like that. Good luck, have fun. Remember that colors can mean different things. So for you, you might choose to use certain colors to mean certain things that are important to you, just like the people of Ghana and their kente cloth.